So this part is one part of the hinge, which looks like that. So to make this, the first thing I did was to make the base. And the base is just a rectangle that's 0.5 by 1.5, then extruded by 0.1 using a mid-plane extrude. So once I've gotten my base down, I made these holes right here. This is where like you would attach the frame to stuff. So I made this hole 0.25, like the consensus. And then I made them 0.25 from one edge and 0.25 from the other edge, and then 1 inch apart from each other. Then I use a extrude cut to just cut them out. And once I've cut the holes, I then make the rounded part up here of the hinge where will allow the hinge to fold and stuff. So for that, I made the circle part. So to do that, the first thing I did was make one circle that's 0.25, and I made it coincident with one of the edge of the base, so that it will always be attached. And then I made the other circle 0.13, and I made the center of this 0.11 from the edge, so that it will be right in the middle. And once I've done that, I just had to extrude it using box extrude. I extrude it to the right, and since this whole length of of the hinge is 1.5, each of this part is going to be 0.5. So I extruded this by 0.5. So once I've done that, I did a linear pattern to get this part right here. So to make this pattern, I just chose the feature, chose this feature, and then chose I need to make two of them. I chose this feature, and I need to make two of them. And I knew they're 1.1 inch away from each other, and that would be like the perfect measurement because this whole thing is 1.5. Once I've done that, this part is finished, and then this is the other part of the hinge, which is basically the same thing, except for where this circular part up here is. So to make this part, I made a new plane first. So to make this plane, I made it parallel. I used this face as a reference because I just wanted it over here. So I just used an offset. I made the offset 0.5 away because that's where this part would start, because each of the circular part is 0.5. So once I've set up that plane, I just made the same sketch that I did for the circular part on the other side, exact same sketch with two circles. Then I extruded them 0.5 this way, which would make this part. And so this part and the two circle part of the first hinge would fit perfectly together. So once I've done that, I need to make the pin where the two hinge can be connected. This is what the pin looks like. So to make the hinge, I first made the base part of the hinge, which is just that circular part. So I first made a circle that's 0.25, and then I just extruded it for 0.155. I did 0.155 because the length of the hinge is 1.5. So 1.5 would be from here to here, and leaving this part out so that the hinge would be long. So the pin would be longer than the hinge, so it'll stick out and not just fall through. Once I've done that, I just made the pin the same size That's the hole that I made in the hinge, which is 0.13. Yeah, so to make that part, I just drew a circle on the base that I made, which is point, and then I made it 0.13, the same size as the hole that I made on the hinge, so that they'll fit together. So once I've done that, I just needed to use extrude cut um, to cut out the outside part and keep the inner part. And I cut it to 1.5 because that's the length of the hinge. So once I cut that, that would create the pin, and so now the pin is finished.